So, are you thinking of moving to Bothell, Washington, but you don't know anything about the area? Well, this video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about living in Bothell in 2021. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Tova Williamson, and on this channel, we shoot tons of videos on what it's like to live in the Seattle metro area. So if you want more of these videos, go ahead and click subscribe and click on that bell so you'll be notified every time that new videos come on. We honestly get reach outs every day from people wanting to move to the Seattle area, and we love hearing from you guys. We love helping out, but we can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we got your back when moving to Seattle. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Bothell. It is a suburb that's just northeast of Seattle. It's become quite popular over the past few years. Prices have really risen in that area. Let's open up a map here so you can see. So here's Seattle, downtown. Bothell is just northeast here. And this area just sits north of Lake Washington. It's kind of that sweet spot for people that are working in Bellevue or Seattle because it kind of straddles the top. So the commute still is not great, but it's relatively easy to get to Seattle, relatively easy to get to Bellevue from Bothell. So that's been an area where it's gotten a lot more popular. One thing to note about Bothell is it is in two counties. It's in King County and Snohomish County. So the county line just splits kind of right in the middle of Bothell. So to the south, it's part of King County. Up north, you've got Snohomish County. Not, huge differences, but sales tax, property tax will vary a little bit county to county. So that's just something to think about. It is an area that is part of the North Shore School District. That school district is very popular. It gets a good grade in niche.com for schools. It rates an A. Those school districts are very desirable for people. It's also home to UW Bothell. They have a campus up there. So that brings a lot of people to the area as well. If they're going to UW and they're not wanting to go to like the main campus, UW Bothell has classes and stuff in that area. So Bothell started out kind of more as a bedroom community to Seattle. Most people who lived up there would commute into the city for work. It has grown a lot. We've seen a lot of larger companies start to put in roots in Bothell. So there's some engineering and biotech companies in the area. So there are jobs in Bothell also. So some people are lucky enough to work in Bothell and live in Bothell, and they don't have to do the commute to Seattle. So we are seeing more larger companies moving to that area too. In Bothell, you're going to have more of a suburban feel. The downtown area is really building up. They've really started to bring in more restaurants and shops. So the downtown area is right here. So you've got UW Bothell here, and then this is like the little downtown strip. There's been a lot of new construction townhomes going in, condos. That area is getting more walkable. There's just more fun things to do in that area. It's really gotten really kind of cute and become somewhat of a destination. And I think that's only going to continue to improve the more people that move to the area. So this downtown area definitely has a little bit more of an urban walkable vibe. The further out you go, though, it definitely is more suburban, bigger lots you're going to find in Bothell compared to Seattle, more of the city. There's a lot of older trees, a lot of like kind of tree woodsy lots you'll find, which is kind of nice. It kind of gives it like that quiet feel. There's another area in the north called Canyon Park. That's a shopping center. There's a lot of houses around here, so that you kind of get that strip mall feel. But the further out you go from the downtown core of Bothell, some areas can feel really rural. Like this area east of 405, you get out here, it's kind of a little bit more spread out and not a ton out there. Again, there's a lot of new construction homes going out here. So I think with more of these homes, we're going to start seeing more amenities and things to do for people. So it's only going to keep growing. But yeah, part of Bothell can feel kind of rural. You'll be driving, you'll be going through neighborhoods, and then all of a sudden there's like a farm that you'll see. So, whether or not that stuff sticks around, we'll see, but definitely it's a very fast changing area. The cost of living in Bothell historically has been less than Seattle. Now it's getting more expensive. The prices have risen very quickly in Bothell, especially for housing. The median home price for July of 2021 in Bothell was $933,000. That's a 29% increase from July 2020. So home values there have just skyrocketed. I think, it borders the Bellevue, Kirkland, East Side area, which is really desirable, but that area tends to be really expensive. So Bothell's kind of still close to those areas. You still get the good schools, you still get the safety ratings, but it's a little bit less expensive. Things are changing. It's obviously getting more expensive, but I think that's why we've seen the price jump in Bothell that we have. It's just becoming more of a desirable area, and people can still kind of be close to some of those other areas that they want to live in, and they don't have to pay as much. But again, it's really changing. Prices are rising really fast there. Again, mostly single family homes. There's a lot of ramblers, mid-century style, some split level. That's kind of like the most common style of home that you're going to find in Bothell. Downtown area, there is new townhomes being built, condos, you get more of that urban vibe. And then again, more new construction that's getting built further out. So with the new construction homes, they tend to be smaller lot sizes compared to the homes that were like in the 50s and 60s. You'll find some big lots sometimes in Bothell, but the new construction tends to, they want to pack as many homes as they can on the lot. So those tend to be really close to each other and really small lots. So you have kind of a mix of different style of homes in Bothell. The older ones tend to be priced less. The new construction tends to be a little bit more, but it all kind of varies. If the older homes have been really fixed up, then those get snatched up and bid up too. So things to do in Bothell. So it's always not been the most exciting place. I mean, there's some bars and restaurants. For most like museums and cultural activities, Seattle, Bellevue are still kind of going to be your hubs, but it is close to those areas. There, again, the downtown area, they are building it up. There is a farmer's market that's in the northern part of Bothell that goes on from June to September, I believe, on Wednesdays. So that's something to do. There are some festivals and things that go on in Bothell. That's also home to the Yakima Fruit Market, which is down along Lake Washington, along the water. That's a really popular place to get fruit. It's a nursery. They're open year round, and 7 days a week, but people really like going to that area. So if you're in that area, check that out. Just getting fresh produce from local-ish farmers is really great. There's quite a few breweries in Bothell. That's something that I always will judge a place on if it has some good breweries. So Bothell's really been up and coming. There's quite a few breweries. Again, more restaurants, more places are starting to open up. It's home to McMenamins, which is a restaurant slash like hotel chain. It's based out of Oregon, but there's quite a few locations here in Washington and the Seattle area. And so what they do is they'll buy like old cool buildings and convert them into hotels. And then they have events and concerts and live music there. So there is one, a McMenamins right in downtown Bothell. They converted an old school into this hotel, and they have live music like in the summers almost every weekend. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, especially, and they have food and beer and all sorts of fun things. So that's something that's fun to do. But otherwise, the nightlife's not super happening in Bothell. It tends to be more of a, quiet area. Families like to live there, especially because of the school districts. Parks too. Bothell has quite a few parks. They've got the Sammamish River Trail, which runs along the Sammamish River. I'll show you here on the map. It's a really nice trail to ride your bikes on. So this is the Sammamish River. It comes off of Lake Washington here, and it goes all through here. And so there's a trail all through here that you can ride your bike or walk or jog. So it's just a really nice, peaceful thing to do. So that's something that a lot of people do. There's also quite a few parks. There's a dog park down here, down along the water. you've got quite a few parks around here, and there's McMinimans, you can see that's kind of in the downtown Bothell area. But I mean, there's quite a few parks. You're pretty close. It's pretty easy to hop on the 522 here and just get out of Dodge, and you can go up into the mountains really easy from here, and skip having to drive through Seattle. So that's one thing to note. There's also Bothell Landing Park too in the area. That's a pretty popular park. So it does have its fair share of parks. It is close proximity to other parks and areas, and it's a little bit easier to get out of the city from Bothell compared to Seattle or some of the other areas where you have to drive through. The last thing we're going to talk about is traffic in Bothell and getting to downtown Seattle. That's kind of the thing. I think most people that live in the area and that have to commute tell you, I mean, the commute's not fun. It's not easy. A lot of areas in Bothell, I mean, it's kind of wedged in between 405, I-5, and then 522 that runs south. But some areas of Bothell, it can take a good 20 minutes to get to the freeway even. And then once you're on the freeway, it takes a good 30, 45 minutes just to get into Seattle. So the commute's not ideal. Public transportation, I mean, there's buses, there's a few park and rides that go along 520 that will connect you to I-5 and down, but there's no light rail in Bothell. The light rail is projected to go up along I-5 and it won't hit Bothell. So you can drive your car to a light rail station and then hop on that way. But again, if you're living more like in the deep areas of Bothell, it's going to be a long drive to get to those light rail stations or those park and rides. So the commute's not great. There's a lot of side streets, but some people, the trade-off of living in this quiet, nice, lovely area is worth the commute. Same thing. I'll share my screen one more time here. Another way to get into Seattle is to take 405 south and take 520 Bridge, which is a way. Again, 405 is pretty notorious for terrible traffic. They do have a carpool lane, like an express lane that you can pay a toll to drive into. So that can save you, 10 minutes or something off your commute if you're going into Kirkland, Bellevue, or even cutting across 520 to get into Seattle. So there are some things that they try to do to ease that commute, but it's pretty rough. And, after COVID happened, we had a very wonderful time of no traffic and it was easy to get around. And now we're back in the normal traffic cycle. I mean, traffic is pretty rough. And once some of these bigger companies start going back to work full time and having people in the office, it's only going to get worse. Like Microsoft, Amazon, everybody's still working from home for the most part, but they are going to start bringing people back into the office, I think starting in like 2022. So traffic's only going to get worse from those areas. So there you have it. Bothell is a really great community. It's a great family community. It's quiet. It's a nice, peaceful area. So if you're wanting to get away from like the hustle and bustle of the city, Bothell's your place, but it still has some fun shops and restaurants to enjoy too. So there you have it. That's Bothell. Thanks. Moving to the Seattle area can be tough, especially if you don't know the area, but we are here to help. We are the professionals. We know all about the area, but we can't help unless you call. So give us a call, email us, text us, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when moving to Seattle.